Hey guys, what's up? I want to share with you today 3 super tips on how I won a $5 million contract the first day of 2021. That's right, January 4th, first Monday of 2021, and how you can start doing government contracts today.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning. Good afternoon and good morning to some of you. My name is Susan Gutierrez, and I want to say thank you so much for being here, for being uh, so excited to. I'm so excited to be here and to share this wonderful information with you regarding government contracts and how to start getting them. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit of my backstory. Back in 2006. I started working in residential construction. And we were averaging roughly about 200,000 in sales at that time. And what ended up happening was, as you all know, in 2009, the recession hit and it started getting business started becoming very, very difficult during the time when the housing market and the recession hit, because literally when President Obama um, was making the announcement that there was a crisis that was going to occur with the economy, literally our phone died um, literally the next day. And so at that time, there was a huge transition for us. And the internet actually impacted the way we were doing business. Not only had our phones died, and marketing in general for a company like ours had big challenges, because at that time we were advertising in in the phone books, those big books I used to get on your front porch. And so there was a transition during that time that we weren't too familiar with, like many people, and that was the internet. We started getting a lot of emails, bid opportunities, invitations for bid walks, something that they called RFQs and RFBs at that time, which at that time we had no idea what on earth it meant, or if they were the same thing, if they were different, what it was. And so, really, it was a huge information overload for us. We even went to the point where we received an invite on one of these emails. It wasn't an invite, but it was a general announcement to a project that we felt that we were capable of doing and that we were interested in bidding on. And so at that time, we decided to attend. And unfortunately, when we showed up, we were gung ho to start. You know, to get information to bid on the project. What ended up happening was we got kicked off right even before the meeting started. As soon as we showed up, there was a sign-in sheet, and we went to sign in, and the contract manager at that time, the person who was representing that agency, went over and looked at that list and said, "Wait a minute, who are you? You're not registered to attend." And so we had to learn really fast what to do, because it was clear that times were changing, and we had to find a way to adapt and overcome and improvise, all these new challenges that were arising, not only the way that the economy impacted our business, but the way that we were going to start getting work, at that time, especially because the residential market was so impacted, because obviously people were being diligent with the way that they were spending their money, especially residential customers. And that was our bread and butter at that time. So we had to adapt, improvise, and overcome. And that is the reason that I invited you to this webinar, so that I can provide you 3 super tips on what it's going to take for you to start doing government work. Okay, so don't mind me if I'm looking up, because I have my notes. So the first thing that happened, it did take us being humiliated and getting kicked off of bid walk. I mean, it wasn't even a job, it was just a bid walk. It took us getting kicked off um, to really make a change and to learn quickly how what it was going to take for us to now start doing this work that we all of a sudden got introduced to. It definitely was a trigger for us to make a change. And so we started doing research on how to get registered. And one thing led to another. Um, it took that day for everything to change. And fast forward to today, um, just this Monday, Monday, January 4th, 2021, not even 5 6 days ago, we received an email that we had been awarded a 3-year uh, $5 million a year service contract for 3 years. So this is a renewal. This is not something that we've already had this contract in the past. Last year, when we submitted the bid paperwork for it, um, it did take, I mean, we submitted our bid in the beginning of the year last year, and it's taken all these months to hear back um, with a resolution as to whether or not we were going to be awarded or not. And um, we weren't. And um, even through COVID, um, we have been able to obtain contracts, government contracts, because we do 100% public works government work for local, state, and federal agencies. We have had work consistently through this year, and these contracts are priced at, 50K, 90K, 100K, 200K, 500K, and then now this new project that we just got. And so I want to tell you something that, and this is something very personal for me. When I opened up that email, it took me back to this moment for me in time, and this was during 2009 2010, when, again, going back to that recession, um, it was very difficult for us as a family, for my family at that time. We were really struggling. We were on the verge of losing our house because it was just we were on a residential project, and um, this customer, it was a good sized job, um, because of the economy at that time. They decided not to pay us, and we had been waiting to get paid for that project, and it just put us in a very difficult spot where, um, unfortunately, we had all the income that we had, all the money that we had to run our business. We used to keep people employed. And so in 2009, 2010, I was picking up food at a food bank. And with that food, I kind of had a side hustle. I was making lunches, um, and I was going to local um, commercial areas near in our city, commercial and industrial parks, and I was selling. I'd make a soup, make a sandwich, put a water with it, and I was just making bag lunches and selling them to workers in the commercial areas in my city. And that happened because I was trying to cover the cost for my advertising. Again, it was such a difficult place to be in for me, and I'm sure we've all been there before. There's just been a moment where times have been tough, and if it hasn't been us personally, we've known someone who's gone through very challenging times and has, and even now through 2020, um, has probably um, been through something like that. And so, because of that, I want to share what changed. Okay. Um, what super tips that I have to what super tips I have to offer you today. Three things that I had to do um, to be able to get out of that situation, and three things that you're going to be able to do starting today, things that you can actively do today. And the first one is going to be to register with agencies. Um, you can literally go on today after this video and register with your city, register with your state on how there all of them have a link that will tell you how to do business with either the city or the state. It shouldn't take too long to do the registration. That's something you can definitely start after this video. And what that'll do is it's going to open up these opportunities for them to send you links for bid opportunities that that are available specific to your trade or specific to your service or product. So that is super tip number one. If you want to start getting government contracts immediately, even access to them so you can see what's out there, what the government is buying, what if they're buying your product, what it's estimated as. It's a great inside tip that I have for you, and that's going to be to register with those agencies like today. Okay, the second thing is going to be my second super tip for you today is going to be to get certified. You can get certified as a small business, minority business, woman owned business, even veteran owned business, or disadvantaged business enterprise. Now, these are all different things that you can get certified as. And when you do, the amazing part about it is that a lot of these contracts, not all of them, but a lot of them are set aside for businesses who have these certifications. So, the second thing that I want to provide you, the second tip that I want to provide you is to get certified as a small business, minority business, DBE, disadvantaged business enterprise, or as a vet owned business. The third one, the third super tip I have for you today is going to be to get training. Training from pros, training from professionals who have been there, who have walked in your shoes, who know the language, who are going to be able to tell you what to expect, what to do next, what it's going to take for you to get paid. Training is going to be key. It's going to be essential. And so because of me following these three little golden rules, these three super tips, we're now able to be 100% we're now able to be a 100% government contractor. We no longer have to deal with picky residential customers. We were able to scale from $5,000 jobs to now 25, 45, 75, 95, 200,000, 500,000, $5 million contracts. Okay. So the scale is huge, and it's going to be up to you. You don't have to start with a $5 million contract. You can scale slowly, but the opportunities are definitely there. And there's so many of them out there. And there's actually a shortage of people who are certified, people who are registered with agencies. And so a lot of times, most of the time, you're not going to get what you get with residential customers right now, which is everybody trying to fight for that same job. That's not it's not likely because there is a shortage in people who are certified and registered. So I want to hopefully inspire you after you've heard my story to be able to do that. Excuse me. I need a dry throat. So, excuse me. So, I'll share with you some of the services or products that the government is buying. I come from a construction background. So, like I mentioned to you, construction is huge. Right now, during COVID times, if you've gone out, you will see that construction is still going on. Highways are still being built. There's still construction is an essential business. Okay. There's accounting, there's consulting, financial services, real estate, IT, computer services, medical supplies, equipment, manufacturing, apparel, cleaning supplies and services, food, site maintenance. The government has over 156,000 commodity codes for services or products. And that is just what I mentioned to you is just the icing. Okay, that's just the top layer. There's over 156,000 commodities and codes for services or products that the government buys. So it's just a matter of us training you to find out how what your service or product is, and identifying that that is something that the government is buying. So I'll go back to what can you do today to get started? Okay, today is the day that you can start getting government contracts. Okay, training is key. And I want to personally invite you to a 4-week live training that's going to start February 4th, and it is through Zoom. And we are going to be meeting every Thursday evening, and we'll be going over training on registering, training on getting you certified. We'll talk about how to start bidding and winning government contracts. Okay, you get all this for $1,200. In addition, you get a follow-up from me. We do also a one-on-one contract review where we'll sit down and we'll talk about a contract that maybe you have in mind or something that was advertised that you may have questions about. So we'll do a one-on-one contract review. In addition to that, a super bonus is you get access to our 24/7 portal, our client portal. So let's say you're not able to make one of the classes, or let's say you have new people coming into your team who are helping you, or existing employees who maybe also need to be on board with what the process is. You will have 24/7 access to the portal, where the training is available, where videos are available, worksheets, resources, and links to everything you're going to need to be able to take your company from an existing, probably residential or commercial property or commercial properties, a company, to now doing government work. Okay, so if you still have questions, I also will be I will also be posting a link on how to get a free one-on-one assessment, where we can talk a little bit about where your business is at, and just go over any questions that you might have, in regards to government contracts. And with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for watching today. I'm excited to see the growth that you have for this year. I'm excited that you're taking the first step in acquiring government contracts. And with that being said, I want to wish you the best, and I can't wait to see you in class. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right, so how's that for super tips? Number one, make sure you get registered with your local government agencies to start doing government work. Number two, make sure that you get certified, either as a small business, minority owned, women owned, or veteran owned company. And number three, get training. And if you want to learn more about training, please hit the like or subscribe button. Go to my website, www.easybizinc.com, where you'll find great resources on how to get your first $1 million contract.